Hello, my name is Dido Green. I'll be discussing my editorial in the August 2018 edition of Developmental Medicine and Child Neurology, Designing Free Spaces for Children with Disabilities. This is a reflection on space, virtual and real, their nature and meaning, and to some extent the environmental affordances that are offered by different spaces. James Gibson, some years ago, wrote about the invitations that environments offer. Invitations to play, invitations to climb or to sit, and many others. I would like to quote now from a well-known poem by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. This poem made me think that when we come to designing spaces for children, how often in our attempts to construct optimal environments for play and learning do we actually undermine the invitations the natural environment may offer? We see from the early work of Mike Wade and colleagues in the 1970s that the introduction of a large amount of equipment to promote physical activity in the playgrounds, such as climbing frames, hollow tubes, and others, actually reduced the physical activity of children once the novelty of exploration had worn off, in comparison to playgrounds with minimal environment but larger numbers of children. Perhaps old-fashioned games of tag are really what win out here. More recently, Professor Anita Bundy has been expanding this work to consider the nature of playground equipment in relation to perceived risk or exposure by adults and the impact of physical activity and play. Similar findings were found with environments with more minimal apparatus reflecting more physical activity in the young children. Of course, of interest in this group's work is the introduction of low-cost, movable and/or recyclable equipment such as styrofoam cubes, crates, and other things. These environments with less fixed or safety-assured swings and slides actually encouraged more creative, challenging and imaginative play in the children. This is aligned with the literature showing the influence of imagination on reasoning and problem solving in the works such as that of Diaz and Harris in 1990, in which they discuss and replicate to some extent the earlier work of Mandel Sherman. Indeed, Sherman, years previously through his studies of daydreams in the preschool child, suggested that some children should even be encouraged to daydream for the sake of stimulating creative imagination, since the ability to combine imagination with reality is probably the cause of the productivity of the gifted child. Whether this is actually true or not, still remains under question. However, there is a revived interest in daydreaming and fantasy daydreaming, but it remains one of the least understood aspects of human behavior. Yet children explore the boundaries of their experience by projecting their imagination onto their reality. In recent years, we have seen the emergence of computerized video games and virtual environments, providing spaces for children and young people, both with and without disabilities. In rehabilitation, we are particularly keen to use these spaces to augment therapy exercise programs or increase physical activity for young people. Thus, these environments tend to have objectives to do more and more and more, with the focus on physical and sometimes also cognitive sometimes also cognitive and perceptual skill acquisition. But can these environments, by nature of their predefined constructions, actually invite imagination and creativity in thought and play? If many young people with cerebral palsy include taking a walk or a hike as recreational activities that they participate in, how can we take advantage of these opportunities to offer environments that invite greater freedom, perhaps to stop and at least possibly reflect on where they are, and even offer opportunities for daydreaming? But at the very least, to be able to stop the moment and allow the environment to offer up personal invitations for thought as well as actions, as we see here in our scheme. I return therefore to Wordsworth. For oft When on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. Our challenge is to ensure we enable such experiences for disabled individuals to stumble across real and metaphoric fields of daffodils. Thank you.